Good morning, you guys. Welcome to this week's episode of the In My Air podcast. We are here switching it up today, bright and early. It's 7 in the morning. All right, I just got back from my morning little jog to get coffee and then walk home. It's really a beautiful system I've created. Can't lie to you. That being said, this is my first time speaking this whole day. So we'll see if, the voice inflection is like where it needs to be. I don't know, but I'm really, let me emphasize, really excited to talk about intuition and gut feelings today. And the title of this episode, The Cow That Saved My Life, which all relates back to intuition. And before we get into it this week, I wanted to give a disclaimer that obviously I hope that it is clear that everything that I talk about on my podcast is my own opinion from my own life experience based on my perception. And perception is malleable. So, whatever. Just take everything that I say always with like a grain of salt and just know that this is my life. It may or may not apply to you. That's all. That's all I have to say. But I'm never trying to talk about something as if this is fact. Okay, because I recognize we all have very different lives and experiences, so whatever. Let's get into it. I'm going to start off by telling you guys the story about the time that the cow changed my life. I want to start out... Did I just say the same thing twice? Probably. Okay, basically, when I was in high school, I created this list in my phone of random things that I wanted to experience before I died. It was like 2 things on my bucket list, basically. And those things were to eat a loaf of bread. Like, it is a whole loaf of bread, like unsliced, fresh baked, whole loaf of bread. And I want to hold that loaf of bread and just take bites out of it. And guys, I am happy to announce that I actually did accomplish that life goal a couple months ago. And I'll post a clip on the Instagram because that was like literally the best morning of my life. But the other thing on that list was to take a photo with a wild cow. And that is a very Idaho thing, right? Because in Idaho, sometimes cows will escape their pastures and they'll just be fucking roaming the woods. So, basically the story goes, I was with my high school boyfriend and we were driving up the mountain to go hammocking. And it was raining a little bit. And we're driving up this mountain, like windy roads, whatever. And I see this cow on the side of the road and I freak the fuck out because I'm like, stop your car. Like, I have to get a photo with this wild cow. So he like slams on the brakes. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you don't get it. I have to get a photo with this cow. So I'm just like hanging out the window, like taking a fucking selfie with this cow. It's actually a video, so I can't bring it. Whatever. Anyways, took a video with this cow, and right as we had stopped, this car came spinning out around the corner, like would have smashed into us and probably would have shoved us off the cliff, but it didn't because we had stopped far enough back because I had to take a photo with this cow. But this car literally had spun out because it was raining and I think probably going too fast around the turn, and like half of their truck ended up going like off the side of the cliff of the road. And I remember me and my boyfriend at the time, we were just like staring. We were like, oh my God. Like, this cow just saved our life. And this all is just a huge emphasis on how important intuition is to me and how important it's been in my journey on every single level, especially the times in my life where I wasn't even realizing that it was playing that big of a role. Because like, what do you mean? What do you mean that, like, that car was going to hit us? What do you mean? And, like, how did this cow appear on the side of the road? Whatever. We can talk about a lot of things, like, whatever. God, maybe luck. But in my opinion, I don't believe in coincidences. I think everything is exactly as it was meant to be, to serve a higher purpose of playing out the greater plan of whatever the fuck life is meant to unfold as, okay? So I think your brain is your most powerful tool that you have, because you can rewire your brain. You can completely change your life just by healing your past experiences and switching your perception on the things that have happened to you and how you want to move forward. That is fucking magical. And what's also crazy to me is knowing that if you say to yourself, like, oh, I am extremely fit and I go to the gym every day and I do X, Y, and Z, like, you will actually take the action to make that come true. The things that you affirm to yourself via your brain become your reality. And that is absolutely amazing. But I also think another powerful tool that we have that is completely separate from our own hardwiring of ourselves is our intuition and our gut instinct, and what that is communicating to us at all times, and how challenging or easy it could be to listen to it. I have been lucky enough to have a pretty strong intuition, and I've had this pretty strong intuition or gut feeling my whole life, always. And I'm grateful for it because I feel like it's helped me shape my dream life without consciously being like, fuck, I need to follow my intuition. Like, for some reason, generally my intuition just stands out above everything else as the right thing to do for me. But what's hard about intuition is that sometimes logic disproves it completely. And that is very difficult because as humans, we try to logically understand everything because we have this innate need for control. And when you can't understand something, it generally will freak you out and cause you to not take action, because fear is one of the strongest feelings I've personally ever felt in my life. And so it can be hard when you're like, well, I feel like I need to make this decision, but my brain and everyone around me is telling me that I need to be making this decision. And I've battled with that a lot, maybe less than most, because for some reason I was given a very accepting family, which is odd, you guys, because my family, they're very, very logical people. Like, they're not the type to be like, I followed my gut intuition and it led me here. Like, no. I'm like the oddball out of my family. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just very grateful that for some reason they still love and accept me, even though I'm just completely the opposite of them. But I remember there's like a few times in my life where it really stands out of like making the right decision, or not the right decision, a decision based off of intuition. Because I've always been someone who feels a lot. I feel everything very, very deeply. And that has always freaked me out because I think for the majority of my life, it made me feel very mentally unstable, which was triggering because then I thought that I was mentally ill. You see? But, guys, this is the real shit. But what I've realized is that, no, whatever, I'm not mentally ill. Like, I don't know, I'm empathetic. I'm an empath. I feel things, right? And so sometimes when I have felt fear, it feels like it's taking control of my whole mind and body. It feels very, very, very intense. And that makes it hard to follow my intuition. But something that I've recognized is that often when I feel the most fear, that is when I need to follow my intuition most, because I think fear is trying to keep me in a box. And it's in this box of maybe what I think is normal, based off of what society has told me. When my intuition is screaming at me to do something else outside of the box. And it's only once I've stepped outside of my fear and really just leaned into the unknown that I feel like life has really unfolded. And I've discussed this a few times on here, but when I was in high school, I had this intuitive feeling knowing that I was meant to be in California. I don't know why. I feel like there's just something about California that draws creative people, or just, I don't know, people who, I don't know. There's just something about California that I knew I had to be there. And so I only applied to schools in California, right? Which went against my logic. But my logic was just based off of my experience of my parents telling me, California's expensive, college is college, like you're going to have fun, like no matter where you go, and education is what matters, and like there's a good education in state, you know? But despite the logic and maybe the fear of debt, I knew that I had to come to California. And when I came to California, for the first 6 months, I was kind of like, fuck, did I make the wrong decision? Because I absolutely hated it here for the first 6 months. Because the people are different. Also, I didn't know anyone. It's like I grew up with my childhood friends and I'd known them my whole life, and my town was pretty small, so you kind of knew everyone everywhere you went. And moving to California, I didn't know anyone, and I feel like it seemed as if the whole state of California was very closed off, and it was like I was alone floating in the sea of people who generally seemed pretty selfish and like they just didn't care about anything. So it was tough, and then I was doubting my intuition, and I was like, did I make the wrong decision? But I think like a year after I moved here, I was like, no, this was the right decision, because for some reason coming to California, I feel like it opened my mind. And I don't think that it has anything to do with the specifics of California. I just think leaving your hometown and moving to a place where you don't know anyone really opens your mind, and it helped me see things from new perspectives and open myself up to really finding my own intuition. And I think that's sometimes the hardest part, is how do you find your intuition? How do you learn how to listen to your intuition? Because sometimes intuition and anxiety, they all sound very, very similar sometimes. So I have a few things that I've separated to distinguish between anxiety and intuition. So anxiety, I think, is impulsive. Oftentimes, when I feel anxiety that maybe I could misunderstand as intuition, it often sounds like, I have to do this now. There's like a sense of urgency. Like, if this doesn't happen right now, or if I don't do this, then this will happen. And generally, that's not true. Anxiety is also like quick bursts of power. It's kind of like the feeling of fear. Very, very, very powerful. Honestly, some of the most powerful feelings I've ever felt. But they're shorter bursts, and it's almost like a stronger jab. Whereas intuition and all of that is stronger because it's more consistent and long-lasting. So anxiety is also, I think, characterized by a lot of highs and lows. I think intuition is, like I just said, consistent. Like, it's calm, peaceful. It's the long game. It's subtle, but you can really find your intuition when you calm your nervous system. And I think that is one of the most important things that anyone can do when they're trying to find their intuition, is just learn how to get themselves to a place of peace. Which is like, oh yeah, chill, like that sounds easy. It wasn't easy for me. It was not easy for me. I think that the first time I felt pure peace was like 2 years ago. Like, I'm 22 years old, so 20 years of my life, no peace. Like, pure peace, at least, you know? And for moments when I feel like present in my life and at peace, it's when I'm on walks, with or without music. Both are amazing. Or when I'm not on my phone, I'm just listening to the world. When I'm with people that I love, a lot of times I'll feel peace and like my intuition when I'm just sitting out in nature in public and I'm people watching and I'm just looking at the world around me through a lens of love. I'm recognizing the love around me, the beauty in the world. I'm not focusing on any of the negatives. I'm just really calming myself and regulating my nervous system. And then also when I'm creating art, writing, singing, podcasting, videos, whatever it may be, I feel very aligned with my intuition and who I'm meant to be in moments like that. And working out, particularly, because working out for me is huge because it helps me. It almost feels like, guys, I might sound a little hippie woo-woo. I really don't give a fuck. I don't know that I will, though. I don't know how I'm going to be perceived. Whatever. So, I love working out because it feels like I just shake up all of the energy inside my body, and I feel like it's a way for me to release all of the negative energy and thoughts. Like, when I'm taking an intense workout class or if I'm running, I will literally imagine that I am like pushing out all of the negative thoughts, negative experiences, all of my anger, any negative thing, I channel it into movement. And that is so healing. It's so powerful because it's also such a big motivator. Like, whenever I think about something that really fucking hurt, like someone who really hurt me or something that I did that like accidentally really hurt myself, it fires me up. I am motivated. I am fucking cruising, you know? And then at the end of it, I just feel relaxed. I'm like, okay, I got some of that out. And that creates more space for the peace and the love and the intuition to find you. On that note, something that I have quoted in my notes for this episode is, love will find a way. Oftentimes, I think love and intuition go hand in hand. And I'm not talking about like the romantic love that's like, oh, I have to be with Johnny because I love him. I'm talking about like the true unconditional love that exists in the world and within yourself. And sometimes that's romantic, but I actually think unconditional romantic love is a lot more rare than we think. Anyways, so I think love and intuition go hand in hand because love is intuition. And I say love is intuition because I believe love is the greater guide of the world. And I think love is the cockroach in a nuclear war. Like, somehow it prevails even when it seems like all hope should be lost. And I think for me, when times get the darkest are when I kind of feel my intuition even more, because it'll be like, okay, this really, really shitty thing happened, and I am recognizing that this is bad. This is not good. I am not doing well. But that means that the only way out is through, and I know that I will get through this if I embrace love for the situation and love for the world around me. The people that you love, the things that you love to do, they are a whisper of intuition to show you what you are meant to do. Those are the things that show you where you're meant to be. I think about what I've loved doing from when I was young and how that's helped me find my intuition and my path to where I am today and where I want to go. And I think back to middle school. And in middle school, I think was when my intuition or like whatever the fuck all kind of came alive, because I remember I had a poetry unit in English class and whatever, my teacher taught us how to write poems. I was fucking pouring out poems like I was Edgar Allan Poe. That's what my roommate calls me sometimes because of this. And my teacher like pulled me aside after class one day and she was like, Haley, like you're really, really good at writing poems. Like you're great at this. And I think that was the first time that anyone had ever told me in school that I was really good at something, because I'd always kind of felt like I was below average, to be honest. And at that same time that I found my love for poetry, I would make these like little iMovie videos, as a lot of us did, on vacations with my family. And I absolutely loved doing that. And so after I found my love of those things, I just followed the love of it. I followed my intuition with it. And it guided me to majoring in journalism and media studies in college so that I could learn how to be a better writer and a better creator, especially in our digital world, which is amazing. And, you know, it led me to doing this podcast and expressing myself creatively online. And it's something that I am looking to obviously continue to do forward, but it's the things that you love to do that show you what you are meant to do. If you love taking care of kids or like hanging out with kids, like you're meant to do something with that. If you love making music, you love it for a reason. It's because you are meant to do something with it. I think a lot of us think that the things that we love cannot be our main thing in our life. I think the majority of us think, okay, no, I have to have this career that's separate from my goals. And I think that that's fair if you want to have all of the things that you love be separate from your goals. But I think a lot of people think that the hobbies that they love cannot be their career because that's what society tells us. But this is just me telling you that if you want your hobbies to be your career in one way or another, I know for a fact it's because you can. You can do it. I do not think that we want things just to want them. I believe that we want things because it is possible for us to achieve them. So, whatever. Take that. Something about intuition and it being a path, though, is that it gets tricky because your intuition, I believe, will always lead you to where you are meant to go, where you are meant to be. But the only way to follow it is to fully surrender to the unknown, because you cannot plan intuition. So for me, you know you're on the right path when you cannot see the next step, because you cannot see alignment. You cannot make sense of it, but it's there. You cannot see that next step, but you know that it always comes. Because life keeps going. It will come, but you have to surrender to that fear of the unknown, of recognizing, I have no idea what I'm doing. But I know that when the moments arise where I need to make a decision, I know that I will make the correct decision. And the way that I see it is, I know that I will make the correct decision based out of love. Love for the world around me, myself, the things that I love to do, and this overall greater calling that I know that we are put on this earth to be good people, to do good things, to have a life that means something. And your intuition is trying to take you all of the places that you want to go. You just have to let go enough and lean into it enough to let yourself get there. In regards to intuition and other people's opinions, this is something that I struggle with sometimes because, like I've said, I feel like I have a general I generally have a pretty strong sense of intuition of what I want to do, of what I think I should do for my path, whatever. But I also care a lot about the opinions of my friends and family. Like, a lot. I care so much. And I love reassurance from them that I'm doing the right thing. But what's hard is when my friends and family's opinions don't support my intuition, because obviously they aren't me. They can't know what's right for me. My friends and family are here to protect me, to love me, and to try and, keep me in line in a way. Because sometimes I feel like I kind of go all over. But I think true intuition, it's not something that can be fully supported by anyone but you. Because you are the only one who feels the pulse, who knows what you want to the deepest level. You know yourself better than anyone. And while it's important to, make smart decisions and be considerate of the people that you love, it's also important to understand that sometimes no one is going to understand. Sometimes not even you will understand. But it's having this greater trust in God or the universe or luck, whatever you believe in, that it's all working out one step at a time. Something that I have to tell myself a lot, especially when things are going in a way that isn't necessarily how I think it should go, given my logic, which is basically just my understanding of life from my experiences. When things don't go my way, like let's say I got broken up with by someone, or let's say I didn't get a job that I wanted, or whatever, I will tell myself, despite these current circumstances, I know that everything is working out just how it should. Despite how I feel about X, Y, and Z, I know that I am on the right path and that I am lucky and that I always have everything that I need. I have to positively affirm to myself that I am okay even when things happen that I don't understand, because I recognize now I am not going to understand the majority of fucking anything. Like, that is just the truth. A lot of things are unexplainable, especially intuition, especially things like fate and true love and soulmates. It doesn't make logical sense. It doesn't. And I'm not going to understand why some people make one decision when I would make another. I just have to understand that despite my lack of understanding, I am exactly where I need to be, and I always have all of the tools necessary to make the next step. I will not be stressing out about what's happening a year from now when I know that all of my power lies in this present moment of what I do next. Don't give your power away by worrying about the things that are so far in the future. Because if you focus on taking every step that you can take with love, positivity, self-acceptance, trust, then I believe that a year down the line, you will end up where you want to be or someplace 10 times better. And I think that really kind of all circles back to my January episode, No New Year's Resolutions, because I didn't set any New Year's resolutions because I knew that the things that I wanted to accomplish and the growth that I wanted to experience this year would be greater than anything that I could logically understand, because all of my logical understanding is rooted in what I have experienced and what I've seen. And I know that the life that I want to live is greater than anything that I could understand so far. And so I've opened up to not having expectations for this year, but instead focusing on the small moments of trying to be the absolute best person that I can be every single day, and to really center myself in peace and love and just being a good person. How you feel inside echoes out into the world, into the things that you do, into your beliefs. So make sure that who you are on the inside is a safe person, a safe place. Because it's all energy. And when you meet someone, they can feel it, you know? Like when you meet someone and you're just like, didn't really fuck with them. There's probably something internal there that even your mind and your body doesn't even want to fuck with. I don't know if that makes sense. But like I said, it's just my opinion. Also, guys, side note, that's like my favorite Vine, and it has been for the last like 3 years, where that lady is just screaming and she's like, it's my opinion. You know? I literally love it. It lives rent free in my head. But I think that's all I have this week for intuition, gut instincts, the cow that saved my life. Thank you guys for being here and listening to me yap. Remember, take everything I say with a grain of salt. Just know that you're loved, you're exactly where you are meant to be, and you truly deserve all of the things that you want. You want them because it is possible for you to achieve them. You just cannot give up. Okay? That's all. I'll talk to you guys next week. I love you. Goodbye.